All right, well, the time has come to set up our race program, which means outfitting and upgrading our race trailer here. We got this thing new, probably the only new large thing I've ever bought in my life. And we set up the basics, but I haven't really had a chance to set up all the odds and ends we need to run our race program. I mean, things like the golf cart, it's never been in here with the car, all our spares, tools, we've got to set all that stuff up. Right now, again, we got the bare minimum in here to go to a fun event. And comp season is here. So, we got to get this thing set up, get the car set up so that we can go get back in the swing of competing. We're also going to go toe-to-toe against a full-on Pro 1 FD car set up in kill mode. It might be faster, might be slower, but at least we'll know so we can fine-tune before we got to find out the hard way. So, step one. In here, we've got our cabinet storage, which right now has Miata parts in it. Got to get those out. And we got this airline track I put in for my toolbox, but gonna get real tight in here between the golf cart and the car. We got a bit to do. We got a lot to try to cram in here, and we need to find a way to cram it in here where everything's secured and it fits nicely. All right, well, before we get too deep into today's video, I wanted to talk to you about today's video sponsor, Delete Me. Experience the bad side of your public information being out there. I knew it was easy to find and that it was findable, but I did not realize how easy it was to find until I started looking for myself, family members, out of my own curiosity. And it's kind of terrifying how easy it is to find things. For me, probably the biggest thing is my address. That's something I keep, that's my sacred thing, my place, you know? This is my house. Unfortunately, without Delete Me, very easy to find that information. Basically, you have these data brokers, they scour the internet, government agencies, all this. They then take that information and post it and sell it to these sites, and then your information's out there. To get it taken down, it's a process. So that's why Delete Me has experts, that this is what they do. This is their sole focus, and they're very good at it. They scour the internet, they find all of the sites where your information is, they get it taken down. Now, the other thing is, you know, getting it taken down once is one thing, but a lot of times it'll go back up at some point, and they go back and repeat the process again. They keep your private information private. And in today's day and age, in the digital world, like that's like having a giant security fence around your property. I think it's important. I think everyone should at least look into it. So if you're interested in looking into it, potentially trying it out for yourself, you can get 20% off consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/TaylorRay and use my code TaylorRay at checkout. When you get that privacy report, you'll probably be, like me, be very grateful that you did it, because man, it's a scary world on the World Wide Web. So anyway, that being said, we have a lot to do, and we're on a time crunch, double time crunch, so let's get to it. We definitely don't need that. So the difficult thing is trying to make it to where we can, you know, use the bus or the trailer at kind of a moment's notice. But for comp stuff, probably be using the trailer more often than not, because just simpler to get a hotel and have a way to get around. The bus is more for fun events where you want to hang out at the track late, that kind of stuff. So I want to kind of shift all the comp stuff over to the trailer. Been meaning to do this for a while. That way the bus, you always got to check for frogs. The bus is more for fun events, which we actually have quite a bit of stuff to do to the bus. We're gonna still try to set it up to where it's not a huge ordeal to switch from one to the other, you know, depending on how we're feeling. Now we got some lights. Oh yeah, we got a lot of stuff in here. I forgot how much stuff in here. Got our dry sump bypass line. Oh, my spare car. Alright, we're gonna have to make a return trip. I don't want to spend too much time on this right now because we need to add parts to our spares package anyway, but we got a decent chunk of stuff. But a lot of this, you know, these smaller parts in boxes, you know, a lot of these odds and ends, this fuel pump, these can all go in the upper cabinet. That can. Spare parts are definitely one of those things where you can really go down the rabbit hole. I mean, if you really think about it, there's so many small parts that would also be easy to change that could take you out of competition. And that's kind of my rule of thumb. There's some of the larger parts that are maybe harder to change. Definitely want to bring those, but the small parts or anything that's easy to change that I would definitely want to change at the track and would definitely keep me from going out on track, I try to have. But we could always have more spares. But my goal is just to do a quick organize, get everything grouped together. Same with the consumables. For right now, there's a drawer in the toolbox that's got some room, so we're just going to put them in there until we work on that upgrade part for the trailer. But they've got a home for the meantime. Well, admittedly, I wasn't planning on going that involved, but we got our stuff organized. We got all our small parts in there, lines, box, electronics and stuff, spare alternator, power steering pump, all that in there, suspension and brake lines and fluids, and then our tools. Take my gear chart to the lid for a quick change. Those gears I've been keeping in here, which makes this thing real heavy, but all our random, consumables, RTV, self-tappers, tape, glue, zip ties, all that's in here. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Honestly, glad I took the time, but we need to get back to it. We got to fix its mount and then start making a mount for the golf cart. Pretty excited to try this thing out. Ooh, I gotta bring the draggy. Ooh, I've been meaning to do a draggy hit on the Corvette. Dual purpose. And we can see what this thing will do in the 8th. Anyway, let's get back to work. Let's start. See how much of this stuff we can cram in the trailer. That's awesome. We got tons of room. It's my first time really trying to load these cabinets up. Still put my water thing over here. I built the cabinets in the last trailer from a Midwest Reese Cabinets kit. We got this whole thing left. This whole top one, besides this one tote, which is that's the lighter stuff. And plus room down here, plus room on top of this. Sweet. All right, let's tackle this. Just too much weight. This is like probably 80 pounds, these gears. Nice. Okay, another one done. Time to pull the golf cart in here. I think it covers these hooks a little bit, so that's going to get tricky when strapping the car, but we're going to figure it out and see if we can get them to both fit. If I had more of these rings, this would be easier, because we could do one corner tire, one corner tire. That would definitely be the easiest way to do this. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way. I just got to figure out something for the hooks, because I don't have any more of those, I don't think. Which, I mean... Okay, maybe this will work, almost. It'll work. I'll use these. 3 of these and 1 of these, which is fine for what we're trying to do. For the long term, the L-track for the golf cart mounting over the tire, if it all works out like I kind of have in my head, it is definitely the optimal way to do this. Kind of minimize this stuff in our way, and we'll secure it best. All of that. The only problem is I have the track. I don't have the attachments. I thought I had more than I did, which means the only way we can do this and get it strapped in by the deadline is to make some attachments for the toolbox so we can borrow the toolbox's attachments for the golf cart. Do a little slipping and swapping around while we wait for more attachments to come in. A little oversight on my part. Now, the challenge here, as always, but especially on any bit of a time crunch, is balancing that aspect of doing it nice and right or just kind of getting it done quick. And I'm definitely erring on the side of just getting this done quick. I tried to make it out of aluminum, and that didn't work, so now I'm moving on to steel. I've got this angle iron, so I don't have to bend it or anything, but steel is a lot tougher to drill through than aluminum, and we need a massive 1-inch hole for these straps to hook into. So yeah, it's, that's the thing with different materials. You kind of trade off one not so fun part for another not so fun part. But at the end of the day, these really hopefully should only need to get us by until the next event, because by then, well, our parts, our attachments that we ordered will be here. So cut the golf cart track to length just on the hopes that this was going to work, and it's time to put it in and see if we can still strap the toolbox down. And fortunately, luckily I had these bolt-on ones, and between those and the brackets that we whipped up, seems like it works. Now we got 2 rings. Toolbox shouldn't be going anywhere. Now we got some extra rings. Still don't have 4 of the same ones, but close enough. So now we got to install the airline track. And I'm going catty-cornered on this for 2 reasons. One, it's a golf cart. Doesn't really need to be strapped on all 4 tires, especially over the tire strapping. It's so strong and robust. But also because these are the 2 that are really easy to get to. So it makes load up really easy. And what we're doing is just basically drilling and tapping through the floor. So then I can come back with a backing plate and a nut on the backside. But then I don't have to hold it from the top side, and it's in. It's a matter of seeing if we got it right or not. If this was like super short, that wouldn't be an issue, but it's okay. It's working. Oh, there we go. Whew. All right, well, it's getting later than anticipated. I have more projects I want to do when we get back from this test day as far as on the trailer, but in the meantime, whew, man, it's on there. It's on there. Caddy cornered over the tire. Over the tire works great, especially with these tires. A lot of tread, soft, they squish down. I got all confidence in that, especially with this thing being parking braked. I ain't going nowhere. But now it's time. Gotta put the car in here, which I've never done with the golf cart in here. And getting to one of them is going to kind of suck. But see how it goes. Before we pull the car in there, I want to make sure we can make everything else that we need to take with us fit. Tires are one of the biggest things, and it's something I miss the most about having a gooseneck trailer is being able to store all the tires up in the gooseneck portion. Not so easy now. But there's pros and cons to both. Bumper pull, a lot easier to find a truck to tow your trailer if you break down. So one of the things with going to events is there's a lot of prep work before and after. I mean, even if the car is fine and ready to go, which I would have liked to even do an oil change to this thing, but even if that's all squared away, even if tires are mounted, there's still a lot of steps involved in loading up. And that's why I take the trailer upgrades, I'm so passionate about them, because the easier the setup is to load and unload, the more stuff that we can keep in there, and it's kind of got a permanent home. It's always in there. The less stuff you got to remember, the less stuff you got to grab, the less stuff you got to load, the less stuff you got to strap. It just makes the whole process a lot easier. And something definitely on the priority list is a better better spot for the tires where they can stay more permanently and are easier to load and unload. In the bed of the truck, definitely not the most ideal, but for now, they fit, so we don't have to worry about trying to cram them in the trailer with the car. Just gotta hope the car itself still fits.
One tail light out.
Yeah, I know. Oh, would you look at that?
Nice.
It all fits. Success. We did it. Car's strapped. Look at that. Feels like we had so much room in here. I mean, the car could go back another 1.5 feet, maybe. We got room to the back of the golf cart. Make sure we're not. Oh, we got room to the cabinets. Oh, sorry. You don't got room. Rammed you into the dang golf cart. Oh, pretty stoked on that. That was the whole reason I got this size trailer when switching to bumper pull, was so that we could fit both a car and the golf cart in it. Oh, what a nice feeling. If you check it out. Oh, take a gander. First time I've ever had two vehicles like this strapped in here, especially with the rear step being there. I was thinking we'd have to make it fold up. Might still be worthwhile. But if we fold the seat down, we could like strap tires or wheels there. So, sweet. Well, I finished grabbing my stuff in the morning, but for now, our first set of projects for the trailer are done. Now it's time to go use it, and then when we come back, we'll do the next set of projects. But I'm also excited to use it because the Vette is gonna be, we're really gonna find some things out. We're gonna find out whether or not it's truly Pro 1 capable, FD Pro 1 capable, and what it does in the 8th mile, but on street tires. Still wanna do it on slicks, but good opportunity to find out. So, pick this back up in the AM. I had to leave the house pretty dang early. We had a 9 a.m. tee time, track time, and the track's about three and a half hours away, depending on traffic. So we had to get up early. I'm not necessarily the most morning person, but I am really excited to try out all these trailer upgrades right after we did them, and especially because we've already got some more that we're going to be doing when we get back. You know, it'll be nice to see how these function and what we may or may not need to do afterwards. But partway there, I needed an unexpected fuel stop. One thing I overlooked was that we were almost out of fuel. Bit of an impromptu fuel stop. Not the largest gas station, but pretty poppin' when I got there. But we made it out. Keep cruising. Definitely one of the benefits of taking the truck and trailer setup is that for the last 7 years straight, I have been toting an enclosed race trailer all over the country. Granted, this is still a pretty new to me trailer, switching to bumper pull. There's differences, but the overall package I'm very, very familiar with, super confident with as far as just driving around in general, but especially when it comes to getting in and out of tight spots and knowing where I can and can't get into. There's sometimes you end up in sticky situations and you gotta figure out a way to get out. And I know that with this setup, I can get out of just about anywhere. And that definitely makes it a lot nicer, especially when you're rolling solo, because, you know, you don't have to get out and look. You know, the more confident you are in your rig, the easier these kind of drives are, especially getting out here, because you kind of got to start going through the rural countryside, and the roads just seem to get narrower and narrower. You don't think they can get any narrower, and then they shrink a little bit more to the point where you're basically just about hanging off the road on one side and right on the line on the other. But you get used to it, you know, so it's nice to have that comfort and that confidence in your edges and all that stuff. Same with driving a drift car. But regardless, I had a good time just driving out here, to be honest. I just love tow rigs, I love trucks and trailers, and I enjoy this. So really, the drifting at this point is a bonus, plus the golf cart. You know, that's what we're really here for. I'm just kidding. All right, well, we made it. We made it out here. Pretty uneventful, fortunately. Definitely got to clean this thing when we get back. Let's see if everything stayed together, stayed in place. Well, this strap's completely loose. This is the real test here. Golf cart's still perfect. Didn't budge at all. Still can't believe they both fit so good. That's the only problem with this. I gotta get better straps. Yeah, this is the rig, dude. First time having my golf cart at the track. Wanted to do this for so long. Go right there. Drag you in. Going out. He's gonna test a Long Beach layout, and also he has an Intech and E-Track, and he had an extra one of these because I had to get by with that one, which is not optimal for the kind of weight we got going on here. And now we're dialed to proper rings. I gotta say, golf cart at the track, pretty clutch. All right, so we're gonna come in from there.
There is a wall in real life at Long Beach.
On the inside.
Yes, you'll kind of like drag the edge of that's your first outer zone. Pinball from here over to there. Another small touch and go, and then power around the inner clip. It's not exactly Long Beach, but it's close.
Side note, watch this. Hang on real quick.
Wheelie time. I need one.
Hey, dude, it's so fun.
I need one.
I can't stop doing wheelies. All right, here comes Dan. Nice. I could do another, you know. I've never driven Long Beach, even on the sim, so going into that first turn, it's like, whew, it's tough because you can't really see it, how deep you need to go. You just gotta like get out there. Okay, I nailed this part, but then I made a little mistake here. You gotta try to string it all together, but I think I've got it enough. Yeah, the car is fast, man. This thing's fast. It's like the first time really getting to drive it hooked up on a fast track. Running good though, staying pretty cool. I'm gonna spray it down and I think we'll be ready. All right, well, we're gonna do something a little different. Haven't done this in a while. I'm gonna drive Colette's car. She's trying to corrupt me to be an E-chassis person. Trying to corrupt me like you got corrupted.
Yeah, basically I'm trying to fully corrupt you and show you the light that I see now.
She went from that to E-chassis and she loves it. It sounds so sick.
As long as you can fit in my seat.
I'll figure it out.
All the padding out, and then the nitrous arm, that means it's back on, and the mushroom is anti-lag. So if you fit your AC, keep it off, and should be good. I'm entering in third.
Third?
Yeah.
Do you know what your gear is? I'm just curious.
Right about 99.
That's about where I'm at in the bed,
yeah.
I think. That feels pretty good. I kind of hate you right now. It's so good.
So good. Do another lap.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thank you. All right, let's see if we can get a good lap in here. Thank you. That was awesome. You made the right choice.
Hey, comment below if you want Corvette will be for sale.
I know, don't do it.
Yeah, comment below.
I'm so mad at you, but so thankful.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a catch-22.
But you drive the Corvette really well. I never really did.
This thing's
So-
just like 2 laps. I felt good.
Yeah,
Like,
they look good.
oh, you're looking great out there. It sounds sick. Bye. This will be interesting. We're going straight back to my car. fun. Well, finally pulled the hood off. I haven't pulled the hood off at an event in a while, but could tell I was a little low on power steering fluid, so I topped it off, and I think where he won. Dan's already duct taping his car because of me. It looks, you can't even tell on the camera what duct tape.
We'll fix it before we head to Long Beach, and then I'll break it again in Long Beach.
Hopefully not. I mean, I will say definitely, like, it puts in perspective, like, because if that was the wall, my car would be totaled right now.
No, it just bounced and then
You think so? We weren't that deep, but we were kind of deep into what was supposed to be the wall.
It would be bad. You would be happy with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that lap, I was like, get single file, Dan, and just when he goes, you go. So I was like,
I was just like, I kept inching up on it. I'd be like a foot closer, and I was like, come on, I just need to get that last 3 feet. And then I saw it coming, and I was like, damn it. Aside from some, relatively minor scrapes and bruises on the cars, it was a very successful test day. Honestly, it was just a blast to drive this car with another car at that level. There's just nothing like it in drifting to feel just the grip, especially at a track like Leadfoot City. It's such a great facility. They're so welcoming to drifting, and the track has so much grip. It's large enough to do faster layouts, and when you got two cars like that, wide open, full tilt, man, no, there's nothing like it. But that being said, we got a lot of work to do. We still got a bunch of trailer upgrades on the chopping block, so we need to get this stuff unloaded so we can get back to work on this thing and keep fine-tuning it. Definitely got a new track where we can strap over the wheels on this thing. I don't like to reef on the straps too hard because you can see it, moving and binding up the suspension, but if you don't, it comes loose. Golf cart, the strap situation worked out great. The caddy cornered spots worked well. Everything worked great. I hate these ratchet straps. I want to see if we can find a better strap option for this. Boom. Wait. Boom. Boom. Simple as that. All right, I gotta turn these lights off before they. Well, we ain't got no lights. Gosh, I love this trailer though. All right, well, everything's unloaded. First things first, before we start on the next batch of trailer upgrades, we gotta clean this thing. You can see the mold and grime. This thing is filthy, unfortunately. I hate to admit it. Got some more stuff coming tonight, and I've got some stuff I'm pretty excited about, and we need to kind of start mocking it all up to plan the best approach to really take this trailer to the next level so we can use all the features. But first things first. Gotta get it cleaned up. All the trailers that I've had before this were all used, and I generally prefer to buy things used because I know inevitably I'm going to put a dent in it or a ding in it or something's going to happen. I want to try to keep it as nice as I can, but at least if someone else took the hit to buy it new when it was perfect, they made it not perfect, then I get it not perfect, and I don't have to worry as much about when I inevitably make it not perfect. But one of the things I've learned is that these streaks that generally happen on trailers are very hard to remove. The truck needs to get washed more. It's a struggle because it sits outside as well, and it gets covered in pollen. It gets dirty quick, and it's a big thing to wash. But the trailer is obviously a massive thing to wash. However, if we don't wash it, we don't stay on top of it, which I've been slacking a little bit. Once it gets to a point, it's very, very hard to come back from it. I've tried to restore a few trailers, and you can get them better, but getting them all the way back to just even streak-free condition, pretty much impossible. So I really want to make sure that I stay on top of this thing and keep it clean as much as possible. Even though it is a chore, we got to put the elbow grease in. If we had covered storage, it would help a lot. A lot of the problem is stuff gets on the top, runs down the side, but we don't. So elbow grease it is. All right, well, it was a bit of a struggle, but trailer is washed. We still got some streaks. At least it's clean. Got most of the bugs off the front. I did go up there and pressure wash the roof because that's where you get the streaks from, because it's dirty on the roof and then that drains down the side. But I don't know if you noticed the broken pressure washer wheel. I had to take the whole thing up there with me, and on the way down, I was coming down the ladder, the wrong way with your back to it. I knew as soon as I turned around, I was like, oh, that's a bad idea. But I did it anyway, and you can guess the result. Alright, well, I charged this thing up last night, so I think we should be good. It does charge. It's just, the inverter's so quiet on this trailer compared to my old trailer that I didn't think it was charging at first. Well, we got something to sort out. So what I want to do is just square away the golf cart strapping situation. I've got another event this weekend. Well, it's actually a really interesting thing we're going to be going and doing. But regardless, we're going to be taking the golf cart as well. We actually need it. It's needed. But strapping it like last time was not enjoyable. It took me like 5-10 minutes just to get the strap to release. So I don't want to go through that again. So I've ordered some stuff to try to sort that out. On top of the stuff for strapping the golf cart down, we got some more L-Track accessories, stuff I should have got a long time ago, but I don't know, I didn't really need it. But now we can get the toolbox back proper, take our temporary homemade bracket situation, and save it for something else if needed. However, problem is now my straps that I cut short, because I hate having that extra strap bundled up, they're a little too short, so I guess that is definitely the downside of doing that. So we're going to have to get some different straps for the toolbox, but I decided to also swap the attachments for the golf cart spot, because these are shorter. Instead of having the ring, it's just basically a small opening, so it'll be easier to step over when you're walking around in there, and it's easier for the golf cart to drive over. So our whole difficulty here, it's kind of a twofold thing. Basically, it all stems around getting the ratcheting mechanism accessible, which means it needs to be as close to the floor as possible. The problem is most straps have like a decent sized lead there, so I bounced around some ideas trying to come up with the best solution and tried a couple things, and what I think we're settled on is using basically this clevis to tie the two loops together, and it folds basically that lead, that ratchet in half, that strap side, so it shortens everything up, and switching from the S hooks to a carabiner. So the carabiner is a little bit shorter, gives us a little more room overall. Now don't worry, I'm not using gas station carabiners here. These are 2,700 pound rated carabiners, and honestly I trust them more than these hooks. After cutting them apart, I'm realizing they're not quite as stout as you would think. You basically just have to put one cut in it, and then you can just break it apart. But that being said, I'm pretty impressed with these straps. I mean, they're a little on the pricier side for small straps, but the retractableness is definitely a big bonus. I mean, it's kind of needed for our scenario and the location to get it to release, but also just from a standpoint of, I admittedly put all my straps up when I get to the track, even if I'm only there for a half day. I just hate clutter, so this will make doing that process a little bit easier. Definitely an added bonus. All right, let's officially strap it down. no brakes. Oh yeah, that ain't going nowhere, dude. Nowheres. All right, cool. Well, that was definitely an improvement. Nice and sleek too. No straps hanging about. Yeah. I'm happy we went that route of using these retractable ones, because that really is all the difference. Because the main reason I needed to get it lower was to be able to open it all the way up to break it loose. But with this, since you go down, it's perfect. Nice and tight. Got some heavy duty carabiners. Lightweight. Not that that really matters. Okay, moving on. Now it's time for the more major upgrades. The power department. It's the one thing we haven't really sorted out with this trailer yet. We have just the one AGM battery, and that's it. Which kind of works for doing the lights, not great. We really need a generator. Or alternatives. So let me show you what I've got for the alternative. Well, we're gonna need both. But I hate listening to a generator run. And because of that, I won't use the features like the AC super often, because I don't want to have to fire up a generator. But there is a way around that. It's just a matter of how feasible is it in this trailer. Let me show you. All right, don't mind the mess of boxes. Got a lot of stuff here. Oh, jeez. So what we have here is a 460 amp hour lithium battery from Venture. Now, this is a 12 volt lithium, LiFePO 4 cells. There's a lot of jibber jabber there, but this is a massive capacity for one battery. Most of them are like 100 amp hours, 200 on the high end. This is to give you perspective on how large 460 amp hours is. This is over 15 times the usable capacity of the one lead acid battery that's in there. And part of that is due to the fact that lithium batteries, you can use a lot more of the capacity than you can with a lead acid, because they don't voltage drop the same way that a lead acid does. That's one of the benefits. However, the other benefit, even though this is a 15 times capacity upgrade for what we have, just put it in there, it's great. I kind of have a dream, all right? I have a dream of my dream scenario, what I would like. I don't know if it's realistic. It might not be, but we're gonna find out if it is or not. And the dream would be to run everything off batteries and never have to use the generator for a race weekend. Because with a lithium, you can suck a lot more amps out of the battery quickly, which means you can power a heavy duty inverter, which can power higher current stuff like an AC. So we could run, even off just this one, we could run the rooftop AC in the trailer. So we could run AC without ever having to turn a generator on. Now obviously with just one of these, the AC sucks a lot of power, but if we were able to put enough of these in there to have a large enough system, we could theoretically run no generator. Now I still want to get a generator because I don't want to be worried about running out of capacity, you know, oh, we got to run a fan to cool the car off at the track between rounds or whatever the case. But the other benefit to doing this setup is even if we do have to run the generator, it would be in short bursts, because without a lithium battery bank like this, even if you want to run something as small as a laptop charger to charge your laptop, the generator has to be fired up and running. Whereas with this setup, we can run all that stuff whenever we want, and the generator only has to run kind of at full tilt just to charge the batteries back up. So it minimizes, at worst case, it minimizes how often we have to run the generator. We don't have to run it anytime we need that power. We only need to run it when we've used up the power that we have in the system. So really the big thing here, the question mark, is how big of a system can we fit? That's what we need to find out, because that'll kind of change the direction or determine the direction of everything else, and what kind of generator we get, where we plan to mount it, so on and so forth. Especially if we add solar panels into the equation, but that's steps down the road. I'm conflicted on that. But the key here is we can't take away space from the race program. We still need to be able to bring all the stuff we need to run the car, all our spares, all our tools. I don't want to make any sacrifices there, or any major sacrifices storage for the race program, because that's what the dang race trailer is there for, So we can't take much or any really away from that. So it's a matter of how much can we fit and still maintain all that space for all that stuff and keeping all that stuff organized. That's the big 460 amp hour question. How many of these can we fit? So I'm gonna quit jibber jabbering and get to it. I'm real curious to know the answer to this question. So let's see what we can find out. I gotta use this. So it's heavy. I'll do this area in concrete. So my goal would be to fit this whole system in our generator cabinet here. Then it's separate, isolated from the inside storage, and not really been fond of keeping a generator in the generator cabinet. You really need to take it out so you don't carbon monoxide up the inside of the trailer. So ideally we'd either roll it in, or we could even mount it on the tongue. We got a lot of unused space there. That's, again, steps, questions. Step one, how does this fit and how many can we fit? Because we could fit the whole system in here, we're not really sacrificing much. This is where I normally put the fuel jugs, but that's an easy thing to relocate. I'm gonna try. Oh. Wow, so yeah, we can definitely fit 3, but so let me get a marker. One there. Second one here. Oh yeah, I can actually go back further. It's like within this anyway. Okay, so definitely 3 wide. Honestly, probably three wide, and the inverter might even be able to fit here. Put a shelf here and still have all this space, but I was really shooting for 4. So we could do 3 and then another level, I mean right here, a 4th one, kind of the inverter and the inner workings, and then shoot, I mean even still have another shelf. Propane tanks for a generator? I don't know, that's kind of weary me having a battery right next to a propane tank, but I don't know, there's a few ways we could do this, but we can definitely comfortably fit 3. Like I said, I'd like to do 4. I think 4 is like a good number to make this work the way I want it to. So yeah, I mean if we did 3, 1 there, 3 inverter, 1 more, propane tanks, another shelf storage or something, or 3, another one, shelf above it, inverter, electronic workings, propane tanks, generator up front. Oh, I don't know, there's so many ways we can do this. There's a lot more room in here than I envisioned in my head. That's rare. Normally it's the opposite. And these are a lot more compact than I envisioned in my head. I was thinking it was going to be a stretch to put 2 of them in here. That's a lot of capacity for that size. That's crazy. Yeah, so I mean, we could comfortably fit 4, 2, 4, inverter, and this is where that battery is, so it would make sense going up to the breaker panel, but I don't know, I don't love that idea of it being in here. You know, because even with what we have now, you know, I've got a tote all the way over here. Granted, we have most of this shelf available. We've still got room to expand more parts and stuff into this trailer, but if we take up this whole section, then really our only expansion space is right here. So yeah, I think we're gonna do it. The generator cabinet makes the most sense. The question then is, how do we stack them? There's definitely a lot more capacity potential than I expected, so now it's just a matter of if we want to go that route, which I really do, and how we're going to stack them and put them. Do we not do the propane tank in there? It would just be ideal, because effectively the fuel for our power, all of it, would be in there. And then we could have a spot, boom, put the generator on the tongue here, or really roll it in the back, strap it down. Either way, I do want to do some enclosed boxes up here. I've seen that recently. I think that's a great idea, where you have a lid and then you have, you know, a bottom. You basically just got to build a top and a bottom and a hinge, and then you can store stuff in here too. But if we could put the generator on here to keep it, you know, with the trailer without taking up any more space. And then we got batteries here, inverter, all that power stuff on top of the breaker box up there. That would be, whew, man, I just can't believe how compact those things are. Anyway, yeah, let me know. What do you guys think? What do you think? Should we do it there? I don't really like the idea of doing it in here, because again, this is prime real estate, and doing it in there, we could actually make more room by getting rid of that battery. So then we'd have even more space in here, cords, all that in there, boom. Partying. So yeah, that being said, we gotta order the stuff for that. Track is ordered, L-track. We'll have to see if my plan works out for over the tire strapping for that, but I'm really excited for that, because oh man, definitely the contrast between strapping the car and strapping the golf cart. night and day. I'm ready to have my car not move around again. That's the only thing. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been really happy with the trailer. These 2 trips and loading it up, especially now with the golf cart fitting in here. We have so much space, but it's also small and compact enough to be super comfortable to tow and get into places with no concerns, you know, and that's really the dream for me. I mean, as it is now, it's amazing, but I think with the plans, whew, this thing's going to be my ideal race program rig to bring everything we need in an organized way where it's not in the way, but with a simple to load up, easy to use package that we can kind of get in and out of most places with. That's the goal. And this is like years and years of different trailers and playing with different sizes and placing things different ways, and I don't know, jibber jabbering. Let me know if you have any ideas, any more efficiency improvement ideas. But for now, we are waiting on parts to do the rest of this. I've also got some tow rig upgrade plans. I'm waiting on a few things to that are going to be sick, especially if we go all the way with it. Oof, man, it's going to be awesome. But I just love this stuff. Man, it's weird, but I do love the tow rig, truck, trailer, bus, all that stuff as much as the cars. There's something about it, man. Something about it. I enjoy it. So I'm gonna quit jibber jabbering. I'm gonna call it. We're out of time. We're out of parts. But I will see you guys next time. We got a lot to do. A lot of projects. Man, they're all exciting. Okay, anyway. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for any suggestions, input, comment, questions, concerns. I'll see you next time. I gotta say it again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.